Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna, and today I am here with the talented Brooke Moriber. Did I say it close to correct?
You got it. It was perfection.
Okay. As you all know, we talked about this last name stuff, and there are some days I could practice it, and I think I know it, and I say it correctly, and then there's some days I'm like, yeah, I tried my best, and it just came out wrong anyway. My brain's not attached to currently.
Mine is particularly challenging, so I appreciate you getting that right.
Oh. Well, while we're on the name, let me start off with the most difficult question for you. Who is Brooke Moriber?
Gosh, I am a singer-songwriter and a very proud native New Yorker who loves and writes country music. And I started writing music, actually, I think I've been doing it forever. I've been singing since I was born, but I really became serious about it when I lost my eyesight for 4 years when I was a teenager. And I was diagnosed with a rare eye disease that was the leading cause of blindness until they invented chemotherapy and steroids and all of those horrible drugs. So I went through 4 years that were the worst 4 years of my life. I wasn't in complete darkness, but everything was just blobs of color. So I was blind. I couldn't see faces. I couldn't make anything out for 4 years. And I was supposed to live with it forever. I would have gone to complete black if I wasn't on all the medications. So I was going through high school with my hair falling out and books on tape to read books. And I discovered my love of songwriting. And it was the worst place I've ever been in my life, living with this disease. But at the same time, I'm so grateful that I discovered this thing that is now my best friend and what gets me through everything. And it sounds very, very cheesy, but I truly believe that music healed me. So once I got my eyesight back, to the absolute shock of my doctors that the disease went into remission, I decided to take myself to Nashville and tell my stories.
And that is so awesome. I mean, you know, as someone who's also overcome health issues, I can totally relate. And I think as a teenager, that's the hardest time because, I mean, granted, we have some social media now, but back in the day, we didn't have that kind of social media to help us through those things. And,
right.
You know, or have
that's interesting. That's the one thing that social media is actually good with, you know, where you can kind of feel a community when you can't reach out. It's an interesting point.
Yes. As I said, there's pros and cons to everything in technical social medias and all that, you know.
Right.
You have to look for the good.
A lot of cons, but there are definitely pros there. I'm so sorry that you went through something as well.
Yeah. Well, it makes us stronger. It makes us appreciate life.
I
think life and everything more, doesn't it?
Yeah. Say it again.
I said it makes us appreciate life and everything we do more.
It really does. The day that I really got my eyesight back, when the disease went into remission, I was left with these thick cataracts on my eyes. I was like a kid with these like 100-year-old person's cataracts, and they removed them. And that was the first day when they took the bandages off that I could really see for the first time in 4 years. And I will never forget, my head was just outside the car looking at the leaves on the trees. And I was like a dog with my head outside the window and just thinking, I never want to forget what this feels like to see. It was trippy. It was very intense, the colors and the details and everything when you haven't seen for that long. So I always say to myself, I never want to take that for granted. Every time, you know, I forget, oh my gosh, when there was a time where I actually couldn't see what I'm seeing now. I never want to forget that.
Oh, I can't imagine. And, you know, I'm sorry you went through what you did, but, you know, as I said, I believe sometimes we're given challenges that we have to overcome in life for whatever reason. It makes us better people, whatever, but yeah. So tell me, who are actually, before we go into that, let's talk about I know you're in New York right now. So I'm in Florida. It's hot and gross as always, hot, humid,
Oh, wow.
Florida. So what's the weather like there? Is it cooler? I know it's springtime, so I didn't know if you were having like hot flashes up there or just nice spring weather.
It's a little confusing right now. It was beautiful and sunny and 60 degrees in New York, and now it's rainy and gross. So it's kind of doing that spring thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love about New York is that the seasons are so definitive. You know when it's spring, you know when it's fall, you know when it's winter.
Absolutely. That's why I miss the Northeast myself. I'm a Pennsylvania girl, but yeah, same difference.
Oh,
You
wow,
have those
nice.
changing of seasons. Yeah.
You do. I do love the summer though, so I'm a little jealous of the hot and humid. I actually do well in that weather. As much as sometimes I'll complain about it, I kind of like it.
Well, I invite you to come down wintertime here because it's the best. I mean, I don't
Oh,
usually
perfect.
complain in the winter. It's just when I start hitting that spring summer realm and I'm like, it's hot and gross. That's it.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
That's not really a complaint. It's just that's what it is, right?
Well, in Nashville in the summer, and I'm usually there most of the summer, I feel like, that feeling when you're walking in a dream and you just can't, you're walking through mud and you can't walk enough because your legs are too heavy. That's basically August in Nashville.
Oh. So let's talk about your newest song that came out in January. Little Bit of You.
This is probably the most fun song that I've ever written. I'm so not the girl that writes about like going out and drinking and partying, but I wanted to write a song about this is kind of for anyone who's been in a long-term relationship where you feel like your Friday nights have just turned into we're sitting on the couch and the week's just been so long and we're sitting on the couch and we're just going to binge watch, I don't know, Friends again or something. And it's a song about getting up off the couch, getting out on a Friday night, having a wild night with your special someone, and getting back in touch with that wild child side of yourself that you may have lost in the process of growing up. So I feel like a lot of people have been relating to that.
Absolutely. As someone who's been married like 20 years, I can relate to what it's like to go out on
Oh,
Friday
you
and just
get it.
pretend it, yeah. Or to sit at home on
Definitely.
that Friday night, yeah. Although
Yep.
sometimes I get to that, yeah, it's really nice to sit at home when you see some of the drama. It's good.
I
But
know
love it.
I'm personally am such a homebody. It's so easy. The minute I walk into the door, I tear my clothes up and put
Yep.
my pajamas on and I'm just sitting on the couch because it's just like I just want to, you know, so it was actually a
Mhm.
song I wrote to myself to remind myself that it's good to get back to that wild
Yeah.
side and get out sometimes and,
Mhm.
you know, just do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. I think everyone can relate to this in some fashion or form. Absolutely. It's a great song. Love it. Uh,
Thank you so much. Yes, we were just added to SiriusXM's Velvet today, so that was a nice surprise.
awesome. Congratulations. That is awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And
Good.
it's
It's
on a country radio right now, and it's doing well. It's getting some good feedback, so it's a nice surprise.
oh wonderful. It's so great to hear that. I love hearing when the song can expand out and stuff, especially for I don't want to say smaller artists, but for what I mean, like as you're growing and things like that, it's such a
Yep,
different complexity than yeah, it's so great. I
it
get
is,
so
and you
excited
never
for
know
everyone.
which song is going to stick, so it's always kind of an interesting experiment.
Mhm. Absolutely. So tell me, who are some of your heroes in life and music?
There's so many Shiros. My main Shiro, I grew up listening. Well, my parents would play her all the time. Mostly my mom was obsessed with her. So I've just completely fallen in love with Linda Ronstadt ever since I was a little girl. She's old school, but she's country, but also did other things as well. But she's definitely one of my vocal idols. I love the emotion in her voice and the clarity and the beautiful tone. I love singers where you can recognize their voice the minute they open their mouth. I love Karen Carpenter for the same reason. Sarah McLaughlin. I love, Shania Twain, Trisha Yearwood, all those girls that I, grew up listening to when I was a little kid. But I have a lot of sheroes right now that I think the women in country right now are just doing such amazing music and such different music that there's kind of this daring nature to a lot of the writing that people like Miranda Lambert are doing, and they're just kind of outside of the borders with a lot of the stuff that they're doing. I love what Carly Pierce is doing and Ashley McBride. They're all up there. I mean, my list is so long, I don't even know where to start.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I mean, I don't think we can just pick one or two in general. We could probably pick like those first two women we've ever heard in our lives that we were like, we love them and go from there. But yeah, there's just so many great women out there, and even newer artists and upcoming artists, and yeah.
It's funny. I saw, with this Women's Month, I saw Ashley McBride talking about some of her sheroes, and one of them was Lizzie Hale from the band Hailstorm, which is, it's heavy metal. I don't know what you would call it, but and I was like, oh my gosh, there's another country singer who's obsessed with Lizzie as I am. Yes. So it's just all over the place.
Well, it's so funny that you mentioned Lizzie Hale, because I remember back when they were first starting out back in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I was bartending close to my hometown, and the guys came in and they're like, "You got to check out this woman," because they knew I was a big female. Like, I love female-fronted rock bands and females in general. Just so the guys came in. They're like, "Oh my god, you would have loved her!" And so they're telling me all about this band. And a little bit later, they got me a tape, a CD, whatever. I'm like, great music. Like, I loved her. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because it's like one of those few oddball people that we don't get to mention. And of course, women in that genre are so there's a handful, it seems like, right? I mean, they're growing, but it's just there's such a few majority of women in that realm. So
that's true. Oh wow, so that's amazing. We have that in common too.
Absolutely,
crushing on Lizzie.
Yes. I mean, how can you not love her vocals, right? I mean, amazing.
She's unbelievable. Her voice is incredible.
Absolutely. So would you like to do our 13 crazy questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. And I promise we won't get arrested.
So is this the type of thing where I have to answer quickly, or do I think about it before?
It's up to you. I like to answer things quickly, because it's really just to get to know you.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking, like, if we could ever do something in person with people, kind of like be like, okay, so you have to do this before I take the shot. Like, not that I would take 13 shots, but just the theory of it, something like that, where someone else is to take a shot. That would be
an interesting podcast. 13 shots.
Who are we going to make do 13 shots, though? It's not me, that's for sure.
Definitely not me either. I'm a lightweight.
We'll find some guy. That's it. We'll just find some guys to do some shots, and they'll be like, let's do it. Yeah, there's some guys that will try.
Exactly.
Or some tourists down on Broadway.
Oh, that would be fun.
That could
be. You could just go around, make like a whole thing about that, like a whole other podcast down Broadway called 13 Shots.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Okay, so when we should both we should do that. I think you and I. Yes.
I'll go around with you. It'll be fun.
All right. Signing you up. All right. So your first crazy question. Do you have any guilty pleasure music? If so, what is it?
Oh, gosh. I love 90s hip hop. Just give me some Snoop Dogg.
Oh. Okay. We'll finish this line. Today, my favorite song is.
Today, my favorite song is, I was just going to say Familiar Taste of Poison, because we were talking about Lizzie Hale, which is just what popped in my head. It's definitely not my song of the month, but like literally just this moment that popped in my head.
That's perfect. So what do you feel was the best concert you've ever attended?
Is this all going to be about Hailstorm? This is crazy.
Welcome to the Hailstorm podcast. No.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, I've been to so many great ones. I mean, Stapleton, Billy Joel, Pearl Jam, like they're all over the place. I would say I saw Pearl Jam close down the Spectrum in Philadelphia. So I think that's the best one.
Absolutely. The Spectrum is one of the best places. I mean,
the sound there was amazing. And they played, Eddie Vedder said, this is the longest set I'm ever going to play. don't tell your friends because I'm never doing this again. And it was a Halloween night, and it was, yeah, that was one of the most fun nights of my life as well. So definitely that one.
Oh, awesome. So can you give us some recommendations of artists, albums, whatever we need to listen to before we die? Like, you have to listen to this. You can't like not listen to this in your lifetime.
Dawes. They're a band that a lot of people might not know about, but they're really good. It's two brothers. Their harmonies are amazing. So get, I can't think of a specific album. Just look up their most popular album. It's the one I'm obsessed with, and I'm forgetting the name. You were asking for albums to listen to or specific artists? I just lost my
Either
train of
or.
thought.
I mean, whatever.
Okay.
If you want to pick some artists or some albums, you know.
That people
Of course,
might
if they
not
haven't,
be aware of.
I was say if they
Yeah,
haven't
I would
listened to Lizzie Hale, I mean, if you really
listen
don't
to
like
Lizzie
the hard
Hale.
rock, then okay. But you should check it out. There's some songs that are not so hard on her stuff. So yeah, that's my
Absolutely.
recommendation.
Definitely, if you don't know who Linda Ronstadt is or you're not familiar with her voice, definitely listen to her if you're into just absolutely gorgeous vocals. I'm trying to think of stuff that people might not actually know too much about. Because I'm constantly just listening to the typical stuff, you know. I see this is one I feel like I have to think about a little bit more, but that's what I'm thinking of now. I'll come back if I think of any more.
Okay, perfect. Tell me something on your bucket list.
I want to go to the Galapagos and hang out with all the animals. Obviously want to play the Opry. Uh, anything else on the bucket list? Those are two big ones. I want to fill up
No.
Madison Square Garden one day. And I mean, I've sung the national anthem there, but I want to actually like fill it up with my own fans. So
Oh,
that's
those
more of
are
a
all
dream than a
beautiful.
bucket list, but definitely, yeah, those are up there.
And those are all beautiful. Although I'm gonna ask about the Komodo dragons. Those, I was all like the whole Easter Island. The Komodo dragons freak me out just a little bit. It's like giant lizards that could eat you, kind of a thing. So it does freak me out a little. Those I'm not.
I had a guitarist in my band a while back who was obsessed with iguanas, and obviously they're tiny, but I was never into those type of animals before. But after meeting them, I was like, they're actually really sweet and friendly and cool. So I'm a little less afraid of the Komodo dragons, but they're much, much bigger. There is a place in Japan called Rabbit Island. This is actually another bucket list. I want to go there because I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a bunny rabbit who is like a dog. He's litter trained. He runs around the house. And he is so smart, and he's the love of my life. And I am the crazy rabbit lady. So I'm obsessed with bunnies. And there's a rabbit island I think it's in Tokyo, that is literally no other animals but bunnies. And they're not afraid of the people. They'll pile on top of you if you have some food. It's amazing. I want to go there.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I
Yeah.
did not know that about you about your rabbit. No, that is so awesome.
So if you go on my Instagram or TikTok, you'll find some videos and pictures of the cuteness. He's a floppy-eared bunny. They're called the Holland Lop. So he's got a little white spot on his nose and a little white spot on his foot, and he's brown, and it's just head exploding cuteness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. I'm gonna be like scrolling through now. You'll just be like, stop liking everything. Okay. Like I can't. It's like my puppy videos. I can't stop those either. It's an addiction, I tell you.
Do you have a puppy?
I actually have 6. I have Chihuahuas.
Oh, I love Chihuahuas. So they're the same size as Sherlock, my rabbit, there because he's pretty big. So
yeah.
So it's 6. It's 6 Chihuahuas.
Yes, 2 are one is actually Min Pin and Chihuahua, so she's a little bit bigger. She's like a Min Pin size, and the other one's actually part Beagle and Chihuahua. They're all rescues.
Oh no!
So they're just the funnest little. All have different personalities. We have the baby, the youngest. We call her baby puppy, and she is just our spoiled little princess. She's likes to pretend she's in charge, and her little growl. No one gets like everyone's like laughing at her because it's just a cute growl, and I'm like, we need to stop her from growling. It's just, I mean, she means well, but she's so sweet though.
Well, I don't know if you could hear it, but I'm in my home studio, which has the wall right against the hallway in the apartment building we live in. And there's basically all of my neighbors have dogs except for me. I have the bunny, so we don't join because it would not be a good scene if Sherlock was part of it. But there is a dog run going on in my hallway right now. They're banging against the wall. If you hear any pounding on this, it's literally there's a giant poodle on my floor, and the walls just reverberate when he hits it. So there's a dog run and barking going on right outside. So apologies for the sounds.
Well, welcome to the world of chaos. That's how it works.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Oh, so if we made a movie about your life tomorrow, who would you want to play you?
Oh gosh, that's this is gonna sound weird, but I used to act, so I'd want to play me now. Like I love shooting music videos because it gives me a chance to act again, because I used to do TV and film, and I used to perform on Broadway when I was in New York as a kid, and the other Broadway before I went to Nashville and became a country artist. And because that's kind of what you do in New York City if you sing and dance. But I sometimes I miss acting, so I would want to play me. So I'd have to think of like the little girl version, but yeah,
that would be cool. So
it would be cool.
Okay, this is going to be a side note question. So what roles did you play when you were a child in Broadway? Like, what was your favorite role even?
So my very first experience of doing anything in this business professionally was, I was so spoiled. I got to play little Cosette in Les Miserables when I was 8 years old on Broadway. It was my first audition, and my first performance was on a Broadway stage in New York in front of hundreds of people, and really thrilling. And I was immediately hooked. I just wanted to sing in front of people all the time. So that was probably awesome. The most thrilling experience. Yeah.
That's awesome. Definitely. And you're right. New York, that's Broadway, is it? That's what you do when you're in New York. I hate to say that. But
exactly. The funny thing is, I always, even when I think since I was like 5 years old, I always wanted to be a recording artist. So even when I was performing on the Broadway stages, it's like, this is awesome, but it's not exactly what I want to be doing.
Well, I think though, who was it that said that they went from just singing onto Broadway, and they said they got a new appreciation for the Broadway because of how much you have to do it. And I know there's another Miss Sarah, who I had interviewed a while back. She used to do Broadway for a long time, and the 5, 6 days a week, 2 to 3 shows depending on the show. And just vocally you have to have that strength, and that do you feel that
I'm very grateful for it. Very grateful for it. It's taught me from a very young age work ethic and how to keep your voice healthy, because you have to. You're doing 8 shows a week, and you're probably rehearsing from 10 to 6 during the day for your next show. And on your lunch hour during rehearsals, you're auditioning for your other show. And when you have any time off, you're basically in physical therapy from dancing on stage. So I understand what it takes to upkeep and make sure that my instrument stays healthy. And I mean, that's another reason why I don't go out and party so much, because I know how much I have to take care of myself. I know what can happen if you don't. And I think that performing on Broadway in New York really taught me a lot of self-discipline.
Absolutely. I don't think people realize how bad alcohol and some beverages can be for your vocal cords and things like that. And yeah.
I know everyone's like, well, it's so fun. You're touring. Aren't you like partying and having a great time? No, that's, and I'm speaking for most people in the country music world. That's not what we do. It's hard. It's tiring. It's exhausting. You got to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
There are definitely fun nights here and there, but that's not at all what it's always like.
Well, I love how the movies glamorize that. It's fun stuff, huh?
Yes, they do.
So tell me, do you have a game plan for zombie apocalypse?
Didn't we just live through that already?
I feel like we did, right?
We did.
We just didn't have the actual Walking Dead,
I was just gonna say, I'm obsessed with The Walking Dead, so I feel like I should know all of the tools that I need to take out if that happens. Yeah, a plan for the zombie apocalypse. I mean, thank God for Zoom and that I can write music, because writing music gets me through everything. It got me through 2020. Just keep writing until it's over.
I love that. No, well, we'll take you to the mountains because apparently they don't like snow. That's what someone told me. They've never seen zombie movies in snow. So I'm like,
Right.
good thought.
Well, no,
I like that.
What about Game of Thrones? That's all snow and all
That
zombies.
is.
So they're wrong.
Ah, see, they must
Right?
not watch Game of Thrones. That's right. Because I haven't,
Yeah.
honestly say, I didn't really watch much of it. I heard about it, but I just didn't obviously see the settings. So now that you said that, we have a new game. We have to
They're
come up with a
like,
new game plan.
yeah, I think we do. I think we all have to become rabbits and hunker down underground.
Yeah, that's a great one too. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, so tell us something you would never do, like jump out of a perfectly good airplane, the parachute, or
I was literally just going to say that. I wish I had the guts to do that, because that would be on my bucket list. Because I keep thinking of, I love to swim, because when I'm swimming, I feel like I'm flying and I'm free. So I was like, well, the closest feeling to that would be like jumping out of an airplane and just floating in the air. But I'm so afraid of heights. And I'm constantly flying, because I split 50-50 my time between New York and Nashville. And when I'm not doing that, I'm touring. So constantly on planes. And I've just become a worse and worse flyer as I grow up. I'm just, maybe I need Ativan this time. I don't know. But, I just, every time the plane takes off, I think it's because I had one bad flight and it's still kind of stuck with me. But anyway, that is a side note. I always wish that I had the guts to jump out of a plane, but it's something I will never do. But I wish I could do it. I wish I had the guts, because I want to experience that, but I'll never do it.
okay. So even though you're afraid of heights, have you ever tried parasailing?
No, but it looks really cool.
You're
I
strapped in
just think I'm
there.
gonna be
You just
too
hang
scared.
on. You could try it. I mean, I think that's a good
Have you
option. I
done
mean,
it?
I loved it. I've loved that. I don't know if I ever want
Okay.
to jump out. I mean, I want to jump out of an airplane, but that idea of jumping out of a perfectly good airplane and possibly the parachute not working, or what ifs, like
That's what would go through. I keep saying to myself, well, what if I just had a heart attack in the air because I was too
yeah,
scared?
right,
Then I wouldn't
exactly.
get to see it.
Oh,
All right, maybe I'll try that recommendation. My palms are sweating thinking about it, but I'll
okay.
mull
Well,
on that.
if you do it here in Florida, let me know. I'll join you.
Awesome. All right, that's a deal.
Okay. So hypothetically, if I called you and said, "Hey, I need to hide a dead body," do you know a good place?
Tied a dead body. I love these questions. I mean, I live right next to the Hudson River in New York, so I'm gonna just dump it in there. Do it gangster style.
I'm feeling like we're gonna hide Jimmy Hoffa again.
Right?
Oh, that's a great suggestion. I love it.
All right, so
Okay,
just
so
call me if you ever need help.
I will do that. I'll be calling you. Oh. So other than heights, tell me something you're afraid of.
Not accomplishing my dreams, letting things get in the way.
That is
I
awesome.
think, yeah, I think everybody is, but that's not to bring the energy down, but I'm never going to let that happen because I'm too determined, but I'm never going to let it happen because I'm too afraid of it happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Someone told me that the more they're afraid, the more they do something to get over,
Mm-hmm.
like, and they may never get officially over the fear or over, but they push forward to try to at least feel okay with it in a sense. So I'm like, that's a
Right.
great, if you can't like succeed at that fear or whatever, that's a great kind of motivator.
Right. That's a good way to look at it.
Right. So since we're already hiding dead bodies and going parasailing, would you do karaoke with me?
Oh, definitely.
I will not promise to be good. I'm just going to promise to at least know the words.
Would you be the Eddie Vedder to my Chris Cornell on Hunger Strike?
Oh, nice. I could. I have
Okay.
not like listened to it lately, but yeah, I think maybe.
We should do it.
Awesome.
I guess
Oh,
that's my other guilty pleasures of 90s like alternative music or whatever.
I think it's just, growing up in the 90s, I can say that I listened to everything. So I was one of those
Right.
few people that was like, hey, have you heard this country song? And no one could relate. So I had to listen to other music so I could actually talk music with anyone in my middle school, high school, anywhere, pretty much.
Right.
Except for adults, adults I could talk country music because some of them listen to country music, but it
Right.
was just one of those things like, okay, great. So not that there's all
It's
great music
interesting,
back
like, because
then.
you and I have that in common. We grew up in a place that isn't like super country, but we love country
Yeah.
music. So it's interesting. Yeah. I am determined to bring a real country scene to New York City. I have ideas spinning my brain on how to do it, but it's one of my, I've been thinking a lot about it. And we lost our country radio station here. I want to
I've
bring
heard
that
that.
all that back. There are so many people in New York who love country music.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely have to, yeah. Let's see what I can do to help you out there. We'll have to
Cool.
see if we can cross some paths and see who we can get to, help us build that back up because I think
Team
that is lacking.
efforts. Yes.
Absolutely. So if you could be any person like Dolly Parton, Linda Ronstadt, the president, whoever, or a position like, a surgeon, a doctor, maybe the president again, I don't know. Who or what position would you want to be for one day and why?
I actually always wanted to be a doctor if I didn't do what I do. And um, it's interesting. I was very interested in the doctors that kind of cure like cleft palates, where there's something artistic, but you're also healing someone and changing their life. And there's, I think I would want to be that kind of a surgeon for a day. I know that's so random, but I would have liked to have been a doctor if I didn't do what I do. That would have been what I would have done if I couldn't sing or write music. And I would have liked to have done something artistic. And that kind of plastic surgery that's curing a disease, that would I paint, and I paint faces a lot, so I'd always been interested in those reconstructive surgeons, that people who their face was eaten away by cancer or something like that, those type of surgeons that change people's lives and also enjoy the aesthetic aspects of it's artistic for them.
So that sounds so cool. Definitely. I mean,
Yeah, I know it's probably you've never gotten that answer before, but that it's very strange and off the beaten path. But that's me.
and that's awesome. And that's why I'm asking you these weird questions. So yeah.
I love it.
So do you have any like words of wisdom you live by? And if so, what are they?
I have a slogan that I tell myself. It's just is do like Nike, because Nike always says, the brand always used to say on the commercials, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
So the only way to get over stuff like we were talking about, like fear, just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Don't get stuck in your head. So do like Nike. That's my theme. Every time I'm just like, oh, I'm too tired. I can't do this. Or I feel too defeated. I can't do this. Or, this is just too hard. I just do it. And that's what separates the men from the boys. You can either say, this is too hard, I give up, or you can just go ahead.
Absolutely love it. Love it. That is so great. I was actually that's something I was listening to Bobby Bones's most recent book, Fail Until You Don't, or whatever. And I was like, he mentioned something about Nike, just do it. And that's why that to remind me just of that
that's
book.
funny.
And how he's like, in the one area, he's like, you just got to keep doing it. He goes, and he said, you're going to suck until you don't. And I'm like, that's a great motivator. Great motivator.
You're going to suck until you don't. I love that.
So, but
he's the best.
That's
he's
my,
great.
my most recent motivation. I thought that was funny. So
I love that.
Absolutely. So tell me, what is happening for the rest of this year? You have some more music coming up, doing some more writing.
Tons of music coming up. I've been writing like crazy this year because I'm going to be releasing a full album with Reviver this year, most likely in the fall. And we're going to be releasing a bunch of singles leading up into it. So there's a lot of music we've recorded already. There's a lot of music that hasn't been recorded yet. And I love this part of the process because it's the creative. There's nothing I love more than being in the studio and hearing the songs come to life. So now I'm in the middle of that, and I'm so excited to share the new songs with everyone. One new song is actually coming out this week on Friday. We're in March 31st. So this new song, this is a duet that I recorded. It's a song that I wrote in 2020, and it's coming out on March 31st. And the duet partner that I have is Ian Flanagan from The Voice. And he is the male voice that I heard in the song when I was writing it, that type of kind of soulful with a little grit to it thing. And just so happy that he fell in love with the song and wanted to be part of it. And I'm so excited for everyone to hear it. It's called Holy Ground. And it's basically a song about making a promise to each other that whatever goes on in the world around you, you're not going to let it affect the relationship that you have. And where you stand together is holy ground, so nothing can touch that.
No, I'm so excited for the song as well. Well, I'm definitely excited that the whole album's coming out too. That I did not know, so I'm super ready for that as well.
Me too.
I'm sure it's a process.
It's crazy because we have so much music now, and we're like choosing between like 30 songs, and you fall in love with they're all your babies, so it's hard to choose which ones get to go on the album.
So have you dwindled down like your favorites or not yet?
I have some top ones. I have some, like, there's a top 3, I think, that I'm like, wow, I'm so proud of these. These have to get out there.
Absolutely. I will just wait patiently until I get to see the next press release or whatever comes out for it.
Yes.
So,
you'll be one of the first to know.
And we'll make sure that we share it out on our socials, and make sure you all go follow Brooke and all her socials, so that way when they do come out, you'll know ahead of time. You'll be like, she'll be like, I'm releasing this, and you'll know in advance, so you can pre-save.
I'm very easy to find. I'm very easy to find as long as you know how to spell my name. I'm just at Brooke Moriber everywhere. Just at Brooke Moriber.
And I'll have the link in the description just in case if you had any qualms about spelling it. Oh, Brooke, it has been so much fun having you on today, and you were welcome back anytime.
Thank you so much for having me. This is one of my favorite fun interviews.
Well, I'm glad. That's what it's about. Get to know you, have some fun, be a little silly, obviously, because, sometimes life is stressful and we just want to relax and chill and enjoy.
Absolutely.
And thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode. Have a great day, everyone. If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.